Now being sued, being charged. It's now street cred in the Republican Party. It's turned into a schoolyard of bullies. And so everybody's trying to do everything they can to be the worst, to be the most hated, because that's how you get up in the world and Republican Party. Let's just see what they're talking about with this law. We'll discuss it.
Friends, tonight, Louisiana is the first state in the nation to require all public schools to display the 10 Commandments in every classroom.
Governor Jeff Landry signed that bill into law today, but it's coming with some challenges. Dion Guillory is here to explain. Dion.
Elizabeth, some say the new 10 Commandments law is unconstitutional. Governor Jeff Landry said before it was passed, quote, "I can't wait to be sued." But tonight, several groups are giving him that wish.
Watch this.
Because if you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses.
Amen.
Governor Jeff Landry on Wednesday signed into law House Bill 71, requiring the display of the 10 Commandments in classrooms in every public school. The bill's author, State Representative Dodie Horton, sitting next to him during the ceremony.
We're so blessed to have a governor. It was no guesswork. We knew we got it to him. He would sign it.
This is what your kids could soon see in their classroom. The posters are not supposed to be any smaller than 11 by 14 inches. The commandments are supposed to be the center focus of the poster in readable font. And these will not be paid for with taxpayer dollars. The money is coming from donations.
There it is. Signed a law that has money paid for by donations. People, good and decent people of YouTube, they used to say that the left was all about virtue signaling. Now, that's exactly what this is. There is nothing else but virtue signaling. And the main reason why is because they have nothing else. Louisiana is number 1, 2, or 3 in every category of violent crimes. Death due to guns. Louisiana is quickly going underwater, and they're one of the worst as far as pollution and pollution law. Louisiana is doing the best they can to disenfranchise every black and poor white voter. Louisiana is at the forefront of everything wrong and bad. Louisiana has the lowest wage rate. Louisiana has some of the highest unemployment rates. Louisiana has nothing to offer anybody but 10 Commandments printed on paper and claps that mean nothing, because that's all they have left. Every dollar that has been paid through taxes don't go to the teachers or the schools. They all go to the people drilling offshore and the big businesses. They all go to 2 cities, the white one and the black one, where they have Mardi Gras and make money. Louisiana has nothing to offer the country, its citizens. There's nothing left. The culture there is sick, disgusting, gross, pus-filled, degenerate, degraded, recalcitrant, against all things good and decent. So all they have left is virtue signaling. Some people may ask, well, what's wrong with the 10 Commandments? Because all those laws are the laws that we're based upon. I give you this to remind you that that's not the truth. That's propaganda. Those who've read the Bible and study the 10 Commandments, as I have my whole life, can tell you it is the antithesis of American law. It's great for spiritual law if you're a Christian. But we'll start with this.
The folks out in your district, what would their thoughts be about, would they be melting down if you had to put 10 Commandments in the schools out in that part of Colorado, ma'am?
Certainly not in rural Colorado and in Colorado's 4th district. I think that this is something that we need all throughout our nation. And I'm so proud of Governor Jeff Landry. He's a wonderful man, a great friend of mine, and I'm glad that he's in that position and taking action, because we need morals back in our nation, back in our schools. And if there's anything that we are going to present in front of our children, it's going to be, it should be the Word of God, because this is the one truth that is never going to change and never going to leave them. It's not some woke fad of the day that you can get canceled for believing in 10 years from now. So I don't think that it's bad to have something that says honor your father and mother so that you will live a long life. That is the first commandment that has a promise attached to it. I don't think that it's bad to teach children that adultery is something that you should not do. And also listed in the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not steal. And maybe the left and some of these politicians are having a meltdown over having that right there listed in our classrooms, thou shalt not steal, is because government hates competition.
Ooh. There are 10 commandments, people. They listed 3 of them. You know why? Thou shalt not steal. That's great. We already have that law. Honor thy mother and father. What if your mother and your father are abusing you? What if the only place you can go to get rid of your mother and your father and stop them from hurting you is the school counselor? There was a time in American history where preachers told the children that they had to take it because honoring the mother and the father was more important than their happiness. That happened here. It wasn't until we realized that you cannot judge secular actions with biblical law. Because in the Bible, those laws are also meant for the parents to also be following. But many kids and wives were shamed from getting divorced. They were shamed from going to their school counselor or police officer and say that my mom and dad are doing this to me. The preacher would tell them, honor your mother and your father. It's not that bad. I don't believe you. But here's what's more important. That's just a by the way. You know why they only choose to tell about 3 things? Because many of you have forgot what the 10 Commandments actually say. You tell me where this belongs in our law. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. So the Jewish, the Muslim, the Hindu that goes to that school now has to see that on their chalkboard. That's why it was illegal to begin with, because in a public school, it's run by the state. It's given to you by the state. Your taxpayer money pays for your child to go to that school. It's a right, not a privilege. That was decided on in the Supreme Court. Public school is a right, not a privilege. Now, as a right of every American, you also do not have a state religion. Congress, and that means all Congresses, state legislatures as well, cannot enforce a state religion. But when your Muslim child goes to school, when your Hindu child goes to school, and God forbid, when your atheist child goes to school, the first 2 commandments he sees that they don't talk about, which is funny because they're the first 2. I am the Lord thy God, number 1. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The next one, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. What part of the state-run public school does that commandment belong in? What part of our laws does that commandment belong in? When these people say things like, well, we got to start at the beginning, the one who created law, that's where we get our laws from, that's a lie. It's a flagrant, bold-faced, rat-faced lie from the depths of hell. They say that because Christians feel good when they hear that. That law was not made for secular people. That law was made for religious people at the temple. It's a moral law. It's not the law of the land. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. It's a lie. That's not written in any of our laws. The police can't enforce that. All this is intimidation to every Hindu, every atheist, everybody who's not like you meaning the person who signed that into it. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. We're at number 4, and none of these are being spoken about by these so-called extreme, extra great Christians. Thou shalt not steal is way down on the list. They skipped every other one that is the antithesis to American law in order to get there. This doesn't belong on any state property. This is intimidation. This is flagrant intimidation. How dare you? How dare you? I'm a Christian, and I believe in every one of these laws. How dare I put this on a state building to intimidate other people so that they know they're wrong and going to hell? Honor thy mother and thy father. I told you what's wrong with that. That's why we don't have that law on the books. Thou shalt not murder, the first one that's on the books. Thou shalt not commit adultery. That's not on the books. That's not a law. Thou shalt not steal, already on the books. Bearing false witness, well, Karens do that all the time, but it's not good. Covet thy neighbor's house? I'm allowed to covet whatever I want in America. America was built on coveting. The Indians were here, growing corn. And the people came from everywhere else to covet the corn, the land, the huts, the teepees, and the mountains for themselves. This place was built on coveting. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Wrong. I can look, just don't touch.
Same thing, though.
Wait a minute.
They coveted those slave women and those native women, boy.
No, well, guess what? I was going to get there. You said it before me. Because written in the 10 Commandments, Christians, that's why we have to read, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife or his slaves or his animals of thy neighbor. That's on the walls of your kids' public school. So when they tell you that these are the laws built, that America was founded on, it's a lie. It's a lie. America had provisions for slaves. They were 3/4 of a person. In the law. And this tells you that it's okay to have slaves. It's just not okay to covet them if they're owned by your neighbor. That's on the walls of your child's school in Louisiana, where your high school dropout rate is high. Go ahead.
Isn't that breaking their own rule about a mention of indecency anywhere?
The entire Bible breaks that rule. That's why when they put it down in Florida, somebody sued and won. They sued and won to get the Bible out of the class because of incest, debauchery.
Yeah.
slave ownership, indecency. So,
Right, Gloria. Remember when Carter was dragged through the mud because he said he had lust in his heart?
yeah. Those are the
Lust
10
in.
Commandments. So when they tell you, our laws are built on this, you can just Google it. Give them.
And the one of them that is on the books is the one that Boobert's son is broken. He's a little larcenous bastard. He still can't find a lawyer. Jeez, and what her ex-husband is just about to wear his new ankle monitor of the month for something else he's guilty of. I don't forget what.
Oh, you need a whistle for that.
All of them.
All of them. And that's the point, people. So here we go. No more ranting. The point is, you may have forgotten. It's easy. The 10 Commandments sounds innocuous. The 10 Commandments sounds like it's not that big a deal. Until you read it.